Hi everyone, welcome to Golden Eagle IAS. In this video, I'll be talking about Election Commission of India, its composition, powers, function, limitation, functions, administrative function, quasi-judicial function, recent Supreme Court judgment on appointment of Chief Election Commissioner, as well as model question for preliminary as well as previous year question of two mains question. I'll be giving you model answers for that also, so do watch the video until the end. We jump onto the video. Election Commission is an autonomous body. Also, Article 324 to 329 talks about Election Commission of India, so it is mentioned in Constitution, so it is called as constitutional body also. The main purpose of Election Commission of India to conduct elections on Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, Office of President and Vice President. Okay, but you have to remember the distinction here. Election Commission of India does not conduct election for panchayats or municipalities, also state legislative councils, MLCs. Okay, these three elections are not conducted by Election Commission of India. Panchayat and municipality elections are conducted by State Election Commission. Usually, State Election Commission is presided over by Chief IAS officer kind of persons. Okay. Also, another thing you have to remember here was every year, the National Voters Day. It was in 25th January. Okay, why it was 25th January means Election Commission of India was established in accordance to the Constitution on 25th January of 1950. That's why 25th January was celebrated as National Voters Day. Also, it is not concerned with the election of Panchayat and municipalities. I already told you. Just one more fact, this will be relevant for TNPSC examinations. Who is the present Chief Election Commissioner means that is Rajiv Kumar. He holding the post since May 15, 2022. Okay, then we move on to constitutional provisions. The constitutional provisions, I already told you, Article 324 to 329 talks about the Election Commission of India. Okay, in that one, Article 324 was very important because it was talking about superintendence, direction and control of election vested on Election Commission. Okay, because Article 324 of the Constitution of India mentions the provisions to safeguard and ensure the independent as well as impartial functioning of Election Commission of India. Okay, so that's why Article 324 was very important. Another important thing was Article 325 because no person is to be ineligible for inclusion or to claim to be included in a special electoral roll on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex. Simply, what they are trying to say here was adult suffrage. Election Commission was conducting election based on adult suffrage. Who are the eligible citizens of India who attain the age of 18 are eligible to vote. Okay, that's what they are saying in Article 324 and 325 and Article 326. Okay, remaining articles you can read it out. They are simple. Then structure and appointment. Election Commission, originally, actually there is a history here. Originally, only one election commission is there. But there is a lot of controversies happening between central government, especially during the tenure of Indira Gandhi, and the central government does not have a single largest party or single majority. There is issues or tensions between Election Commission and the central government. So they want to dilute the powers of Election Commission of India. That's why they introduced Election Commissioners Amendment Act of 1989. As per the act, they added two more election commissioner. Okay, one chief election commissioner and two election commissioner was added in 1989. But what happened during that time? It was discontinued in 1989. It was introduced, but in 1990 this procedure was discontinued and only have one chief election commissioner. But after again 1993, this procedure was continued, 1+2 member body of election commission, chief election commissioner plus election commissioners. Okay, the multi-member body of election commission was formulated. this procedure of election commissioner and chief election commissioners was continued till today. Okay, then they are appointed by president. You have to remember that even though the persons are recommended by prime minister and the council of ministers, they are appointed under the seal of president. Okay, you get it the point, right? Presently chief election commissioner and election commissioners, there is only small difference is there in terms of powers. Chief election commissioner and election commissioner, in terms of powers there is no difference. Suppose they want to decide something, but if they have some difference in opinion, means 1 plus 2, 3 people are there, so the decision will be taken based on the majority vote. Okay, here there is no greater power to chief election commissioner or smaller powers to election commissioners. All 3 people have equal powers, but the problem was in removal. Okay, what I am saying here, removal means chief election commissioner and election commissioners are removed differently. Chief election commissioner was removed in the same manner of Supreme Court judge. What is the same manner of Supreme Court judge means? He has the same powers, emoluments of Supreme Court judge also. For removing Supreme Court judge, Parliament has to pass 2/3 of majority. The resolution has to be passed, right? There is no impeachment, but the removal has to be passed via Parliament. But for election commissioners, they can be removed by President, but on the recommendation of Chief Election Commissioner. So President can't arbitrarily remove election commissioners. Okay, to remove the election commissioners, President must get the approval from Chief Election Commissioner. Okay, in case of difference, I already told you majority vote going to take place. Okay, in procedural removal also, just like Supreme Court or High Court judges, same 2/3 of members present and voting will take place for Chief Election Commissioner. For election commissioners, there is no procedure like that. Okay, one more thing you have to remember here was there is no impeachment both for election commissioner or chief election commissioner, because if you take Supreme Court judge or High Court judge also, there is no impeachment. Impeachment is only applicable for president. Okay, why there is a difference now? Many people don't know, or I think nobody is going to tell you. There is a difference between impeachment and removal using the 2/3 of majority. In impeachment, okay, for removal of CAG and CEC, they are not going to use the total membership. Okay, but if you take president, the special majority of 2/3 of members of total strength of both houses, which is not used elsewhere. Okay, then the tenure was 6 years or 65 years. Which one is earlier? They are going to take up to the year. Then removal, there is no pleasure of president. I already told you here. Then limitation. If you talk about the limitation, the constitution not prescribed any qualification like a legal or educational or administrative or judicial. You have some qualification in appointment of Supreme Court judge, right, or High Court judge, or UPSC members, but there is no qualification to appoint as a chief election commissioner or election commissioners. Second, there is not a specified term of the members of election commission. Okay, the third point was the election commission was not debarred the retiring election commissioners to take the further appointment in government of India. Usually what happened, the people who are supporting the ruling party getting the safe seats after the retirement in election commission of India. Okay, also they are getting more favors, so there is no debarment. If we move on to next slide, there is a powers and function. In powers and function, we are especially going to talk about administrative powers and function of Election Commission of India. What are all the administrative function? First, to determine the territorial areas. Of electoral constituencies throughout the country, especially on the basis or recommendation of Delimitation Commission of India. Okay, I will talk about this Delimitation Commission in a separate video. Okay, second administrative function was they periodically revise the electoral rolls. Okay, third function was They grant recognition to political parties and allot symbols to political parties. What is the fourth administrative function? Election Commission ensures the level playing field. Level playing field for the political parties and the election tray, especially even though strict observance by them of moral code of conduct evolved with the consensus of political parties. Okay, there is no legal backing. Here you have to remember this also. In moral code of conduct, there is no legal backing. It is just a function of election commission. While talking about mains question, I'll give you some pointers related to this. If we move on to advisory and quasi-judicial function, advisory and quasi-judicial function of Election Commission of India, first you have to take under constitution. It was mentioned the commission has the advisory jurisdiction in matter of election disqualification of sitting members of parliament, disqualification of sitting members of parliament as well as state legislatures. Okay, in this also the opinion of the commission, okay, the opinion of the commission is binding. You have to remember this. Mostly we think it is a non-binding advisory role, but it is a binding role. In the opinion of the commission in such matters binding to president. Okay, you have to remember this. This is potential prelims question because Election Commission of India is always in the news. Maybe we can expect a question in this year prelims 2023 UPSC examination. Also, suppose a governor is asking some opinion regarding state election also. During the time also Election Commission of India's advisory was binding on governor. Okay, second, if you move on to second, if the in case of persons found guilty of corrupt practices at election which came before Supreme Court or High Court, also they can refer their opinion to Election Commission of India. Okay, third, Election Commission can disqualify a candidate. You have to remember this also. Disqualify a candidate who has failed to lodge the account of his election expenses. Okay, there is no particular time period. Usually the time period will be given by Election Commission of India. Within the particular stipulated time period, the candidates has to file their election expenses to Election Commission of India. Another function we can say declaration of results. Okay, this is a normal one only. Why I was saying this thing now, it was used in mains answer writing practice or mains answers. Last point you can say scrutiny of nomination papers. Okay, scrutiny of nomination papers. Here some pointers like related to Representation of People's Act 1950, Representation of People's Act 1951 was there. I was going to take a separate video for that. Okay, stay tuned for that. Here I just give you one pointer. Suppose a person is in jail for more than 2 years. He can't conduct election for 6 years. This is some issues was going on for previous years in some states. I'll take it a separate video for that. We move on to recent issue. What is the recent issue pertaining to the Election Commission of India? What is the major issues? First issue was the tenure. The first issue was tenure because nowadays past 2 decades while choosing the chief election commissioner, what the ruling party is doing or the central government is doing now, usually the retiring age was 65 years. So they choose the person who is nearly to 64 years or 63 years of their service. So they choose them as chief election commissioners. So they can't fulfill their entire term as chief election commissioners. Why this is a problem? Because this is way to harming the independence of Election Commission of India. Okay, if you take in a statistical data past 10 years, if you take it as a statistical data, first I said tenure, right? If you take a statistical data past 10 years, more than 6 chief election commissioners were appointed by Government of India. Okay, also the recent problem, Arun Goyal. Recently, there is a vacancy for election commissioner. The Government of India appointed Arun Goyal as the election commissioner. There is no issue there, but the appointment time or the background verification, everything took place within 24 hours. Okay, this is too surprising for Supreme Court itself. So the Supreme Court asked the central government to give justification for the background verification of Arun Goyal. Okay, that's where the issue started. I'll give you the Supreme Court verdict in next slide, so you get the overall picture right. The tenure was the major problem. In the tenure also, another problem was the favorability of central government to particular persons. Okay, so why these people are doing like that? Na? Obviously, election commission holding a greater power while conducting election or implementing model code of conduct, everything. Also giving allotting parties, symbols, everything in the hands of election commission. So central government want to hold a greater command over election commission of India. That's why they are putting the persons who are more favored to them in the post. Okay, that's why the Arun Goyal problem was surfacing in India now. The petition about election commission of India was filed in Supreme Court. There is many times they filed the petition. I think since 2018 the issue was going on. Okay, because already Supreme Court and the second ARC report mentioned the major flaw in the appointment of chief election commissioners and election commissioners, because these guys are appointed by cabinet and the prime minister's recommendation. There is no committee. If you take NHRC or CVC or CIC, Central Vigilance Commission, Central Information Commission, National Human Rights Commission, everything's top institutions, the directors or members are appointed by the commission consisting of prime minister or leader of opposition or speaker of Lok Sabha, chief justice of India. The important personalities to diversify the power, to increase the cooperative federalism, they give more diversification of powers to the members. But that is not the case to Election Commission of India. Election Commission is one of the important body, but there is no such a thing in the appointment. Okay, that's why recently, I think so past week, Supreme Court gave a ruling on appointment of Chief Election Commission. What is the ruling? While appointing the Chief Election Commissioner, a committee consisting of Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India, as well as leader of opposition. Okay, these three people has to come together and give the name who is going to be appointed as Chief Election Commissioner. Okay. Till now, only 3 election commissioners were appointed based on the recommendation of cabinet committee, as well as till now only 3 election commissioners completed the tenure. Okay, like Menon, some important people, those guys only completed the 6 years tenure. Why? Because of the influence of cabinet committee in the appointment of 3 election commissioners. One chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioners. Those guys are influenced by central government. To reduce the influence, Supreme Court give a ruling to appoint based on a committee's recommendation. Okay, I think so this is sufficient about the recent Supreme Court ruling. We already saw what is Election Commission of India. It is powers, function, appointment, limitation, issues, as well as recent development also. We move on to prelims practice question. Consider the following statement with respect to election commissioners. First statement: Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from office only through procedure like Supreme Court judge by the Parliament. I already explained you in the slide itself. This is a correct statement because it is not an impeachment. If the statement is given as impeachment, that is the incorrect statement, because impeachment as per Constitution of India only applicable to President of India. Okay, all election commissioners have equal say in decision making of the commission. I already told you the powers, there is a difference here, the majority talks. So this is also correct statement. Which of the following statements are correct? Here also you have to note it is incorrect or correct. Correct means both are correct. If it is incorrect, neither one nor two. Consider the following statements regarding Chief Election Commission. Sukumar Sen is the first Chief Election Commissioner of India. This is a correct statement. It is a fact based one. That's why I give this question, so that you can remember the fact. First Chief Election Commissioner, who is Sukumar Sen. V.S. Rama Devi was the first woman to become a Chief Election Commissioner of India. This is also correct. This is also another fact you have to remember. V.S. Rama Devi, first woman. Third, the tenure of office of election commissioners of any regional commissioners are determined by parliament. No, I already told you 6 years or 65 years limitation. So it was mentioned in constitution. So it was not mentioned or given by parliament or president. So incorrect statement. What is the, choose the correct statement. What is the answer? 1 and 2 only. If you remove the third statement itself, you can remove this one and this one. Only you have to choose the 50-50 option here. Anyway, it's a fact based one, so 1 and 2 only. We move on to mains based question. These two are previous year question. In light of recent controversy regarding the use of EVM, electronic voting machine, what are the challenges before Election Commission of India to ensure the trustworthiness of Election Commission of India? Here you have to give the Election Commission of India's different powers. I already give you the powers of administrative, quasi-judicial functions, as well as limitation tenure, articles 324 to 329. Those static part you can give it. But the recent controversy, what is the controversy regarding to electronic voting machine? It's a 2018 current affairs based question. So what that time the controversy happening was, Election Commission could not use electronic voting machine in all the constituencies during that time, because they are giving a reason as lack of funding, lack of autonomy, or a lack of administrative inconvenience. Those things they give it as the reason. Okay, you have to write those down. I just give you the pointers. Then to enhance the quality of democracy in India, Election Commission has proposed electoral reforms in 2016. What are the suggested reforms? How far they are significant to make democracy successful in 2017? This one also that time current affairs based question. So in 2023 mains, we can expect based on Supreme Court ruling, the question can be expected. That's why I was giving you every pointers. Suppose I give you pointers, right? The question may be come based on Supreme Court judgment. What will be the way forward you can give? Way forward. What is the way forward you can give? We can say give equal constitutional protection to all three election commissioners as opposed as just as CEC, because the removal of election commissioners based on the recommendation of chief election commissioner by the arbitrary action of president. So we can say equal protection to three election commissioners. Second, institutionalize the convention where the senior most election commissioner should be automatically elevated as chief election commissioner. Why we are going to give this recommendation? This will reduce the hunky funky activities of central government. Third, we can give first this one we can give. Second, third, we can give reducing the election commissioners dependence on law ministry, home ministry. How we can reduce the dependence? How we can reduce the dependence to increase the budget autonomy? How we can increase the budget autonomy? By charging the fund from consolidated fund of India instead of voting from budget. Okay. Second, we can give the power to Election Commission of India to recruit their own staffs and members. Okay, these are all the things we can give it as a way forward. One more thing I already told you while teaching you model code of conduct. Model code of conduct has no legal backing, so we can say we have to provide legal backing to model code of conduct of Election Commission of India. These are all the things you have to give it as way forward. Suppose this question came in mains 2023. Okay, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, just do like and subscribe to our channel. Here I'll just give you some additional pointers for mains based question. The initiatives: EVM, VVPAT, electoral bonds, sweep, C-Vigil, then media certification, Digital India program of IIT Madras. These things, if you want, you can take a screenshot and use it in your mains answer reading. Okay, thank you for watching the video. Please like the video. Thank you.